What is going on, you guys? Bastion Wiser here, and I'm coming at you with the set list for Flames of Destruction for the TCG. This is basically just me going over some of the cards that are going to be coming out, some of the cards that we could be looking forward to, and kind of giving you an overall opinion on whether this set is worth buying into or not. Of course, there's some really good cards in here, there's some really underwhelming cards in here, but without further ado, let's get right into it. We're getting Protron, it's another Cyber's normal. Haven't looked at this card yet. What is this? Some more Cyber support, tribute, 1 level 4 levers, Cyber monster, special summon any numbers, normal monster from your deck, whose total level is equal to this, but banish them during the option. Yeah, it's okay. I don't think Cybers are ever gonna get like really good support. For like its own archetype. There's obviously some Cyber monsters that are used in the competitive, but they're usually like really good Link monsters, you know. Backup Operator, Link Streamer, Degradation Buster, which is super rare. Actually looks like a really cool artwork. Let's see, oh, more Cybers, awesome. Cannot be normal summon or set, must just be special summon from your hand by banishing 2 Cybers from your graveyard. Quick effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, so the attack is higher. Then this card is banished to the end phase, you can only activate. Okay, that's actually not bad. That's actually pretty good. That's actually a really good card. In my opinion, it's just in the wrong type. The fact that it has to banish 2 Cybers, that's special summon, itself is like kind of wonky. If this would have said like, I don't know, anything more relevant like Spellcaster or Fairy or even Worm, if you want to play this in True Draco, whatever, you know. This could have been a good card, but it has to banish 2 Cybers to summon it, so it's in a bad archetype in its own. I don't know, maybe we'll get good Cyber support someday, but this is definitely, if you're playing a Cyber deck, I would assume you'd be playing this at least 2 or 3. I mean, target a monster your opponent controls with attack higher, quick effect, and you banish it. That's pretty freaking good to me. Degradation Buster, definitely a card to look out for if you're playing Cybers. Trickstar players. Okay, I've been looking at the Trickstar list that's coming out for this set for the longest time, and I am very disappointed. First of all, we're not getting Trickstar Carabine in this, we're not getting Trickstar Foxy Witch, and we're not getting Trickstar Magic Corolla. For anyone who knows anything about Trickstars, those cards are busted. Magic Corolla is the equipped spell that you can special summon the Trickstar. Hard once per turn, but it's really good. And if it inflicts damage, you get to special summon the Trickstar from your hand. That's less important. You usually use it to link away to bigger links. Foxy Witch is arguably the best Link monster right behind Holly Angel. And Carabine is our searchable Honest that you can special summon 2k Beatstick, special summon it for no reason. But we don't get any of those cards. But instead we get Trickstar Nightshade, Mandrake, and Rodeo. Mandrake and Rodeo being pretty irrelevant in my opinion. Nightshade is the only really good one, where if you use it to, is a level 2, if you use it to summon a Trickstar monster, you would go into Trickstar Bloom. It can special summon itself, you could go straight into a Holly Angel, which is great. You could have a free Holly Angel, but you would still need something else to go off of. You're not just going to end your turn with a freaking Holly Angel on board and leave it at that. That sounds very neg. Anyway, Goki, Oxstretch, and Bear Hug. I have played around with the Gokis a little bit. They seem like a pretty cool archetype, and I'm glad they're getting more support. I saw that this guy was the top regional or YCS playing Goki. He got like top 8 or something. It was ridiculous. I mean, his deck profile is really cool. Definitely, if you guys are interested in Goki, definitely check out top 8 Goki on YouTube. He seems like he really know what he's doing. He wasn't expecting much, but he got it done anyway. It's a fun deck, so I'm glad they're getting more support. Defrag Dragon. What is this? Special summon this card from sending one other monster from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon Defrag Dragon to return this way. Okay, if this card is in your graveyard, banish 3 other monsters with the same name in your graveyard. Special summon this card. This sounds shit. Next, Background Dragon. There's a reason why these are commons. This card is in your graveyard and you control no cards. You can special summon both this and one level 4 or lower dragon monster from your hand in defense position. That's pretty good. Okay. I can live with that. But banish this card when it's a field. You can only use this effect of background dragon per turn. Okay, I can see some applications for it. It's not the worst card in the world. It's pretty okay. Let's see. Tindangle Trinity. Okay. For those who don't know, I actually played Tindangle as soon as it came out. I played it for the sneak peek tournament, whatever. And ever since then, I just really love the deck. I think it's so much fun to play. It's really slow and it's really bad, but it's really a fun deck to pick up if you want just like a cheap option, or if you're into flip effect monsters. I definitely recommend playing some sort of prediction princess support with it, like the Ritual, which can special summon flip effects and flip them face up, face down. It's a great card. But Tindangle Trinity is definitely a great support card for Tindangles. You can special summon a Tindangle based Gardener from your deck. Those who have any experience with Tindangles knows that this card is Jesus in the deck, and you need it out. This card is flipped face up. Your Tindangle monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. I don't know if that means itself, like if if my opponent attacks into this and they flip face up, then that means they can't be destroyed either. But if it does, that's awesome. And while this card is face up on the field, cannot be destroyed by battle. This card face up on the field, so you just build that wall. You just trump that shit. And if this card's into the graveyard as a material for a link summon of a Tindangle Link monster, that's Tindangle Cerberus, I believe. Yeah. You can add one Gorgon's End from your deck to your hand. Then send one Sponge Habit from your deck to the graveyard. This is actually a really great Tindangle Trinity. Tindangle support, I mean. I'm definitely going to have to pick up 3 of these. It's going to be super hard because I'm pretty sure it's a common. So people are probably just going to give this out for no reason. But it's really underrated at Tindangles. I think it's a really great fun deck. Something definitely to look into if you're looking for just like casual decks. Okay, now we get into the meat here, which is the Geist, the multi-faker. This is a card that people are saying that's going to take Geist into the tier 1, the like really competitive level. I don't know too much about Geist. I don't know how they play. I just know they have a lot of traps and negate a bunch of shit. But I mean, if Geist become like a big thing, cool, I mean, let's see what this card does. If you activate a trap card, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, special summoning, special summon Geist monster from your deck in defense position. That's really good. Like even I don't really know too much about Geist. Like I know they activate a lot of traps, and if you can summon this and another Geist, because they have like interruption on their own, that's pretty good. You can also special summon monsters when you activate this effect, except Geist monsters. I'm pretty sure that's so irrelevant to the deck, because I haven't seen a single Geist deck that's like mixed with anything else that's not Geist related, except for like a few Link monsters. But besides that, and this is the Geist that I haven't seen anyone really play. I can understand why. But if you combo this off with the multi-faker, it shouldn't be too bad, right? I mean, activate your trap, summon this, summon that. Activate your trap, summon multi-faker, use this effect to summon Pixtiel, and during your turn, activate top 3 cards. I don't know. Definitely multi-faker is the far better card, but this doesn't seem too bad to me. Let's see, what else? Mech Knight Avram, is that the normal monster? Yeah, it is. Check this out. They really could have I never made a video when they changed that because I just thought it was ridiculous. But just seeing it there, it's so sad. Like, come on, give us a little flavor there, Konami. What are you doing? Okay, our first secret rare we're coming across: Nightmare Corrupt Iblis. When this card is normal summon, you can target one Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Special summon it linked to this card, but change the attack to 0. That's really good effect, I'm not gonna lie. Also, its effects negated. You cannot special summon monsters except link monsters. Also, if this card you control is into the graveyard, you can special summon this card to your opponent's field and defense position. So that's pretty good. You can target like a Link 3, Link 2 monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then link this along with it to make a higher link, and then special summon this card to your opponent. And then they have to deal with the fact that they can't special summon monsters except link monsters. So that's really good. Especially going against like a Pendulum Magician matchup. If you just go turn 1, make this, or I don't know how you go turn 1, but you know, find a way to get this on their board, and you should be pretty good. Let's see what else we got. World Legacy, World Lance. I haven't seen this card before. I like the artwork that they have with these cards. They always like so it's big structures, like it's really cool. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack World Legacy monsters you control except this one. Okay, 3k attack, very nice. You can only use each of the following effects of World Legacy World Lance once per turn. If 2 monsters battle include a Link monster, damage calculation. During damage calculation, you can discard this card. Your opponent's battling monster loses 3,000 attack. Jesus Christ. Okay, so you don't have to be the one who controls a Link monster. It can be your opponent, and it just loses 3,000 attack. That's really nuts. If a monster is special summoned from the extra deck, special summon 1 World Legacy token to each player's field and defense position. This is pretty decent, like linked deck support. I wouldn't play this in regular World Chalice decks because you run enough. It's more prone to bricking regardless. So with that deck, you need more combo pieces. I'm not sure what you would play this in, but if you're playing a really link heavy deck, definitely recommend this card. I mean, you pretty much beat over whatever you want, so not bad. Awesome. Okay, now get into the Element Sabers. So basically, Element Sabers, they're actually a pretty cool archetype that they can change their attributes while they're in the graveyard, so you can special summon your Elemental Lords and whatnot. And the Elemental Lords have some ridiculous effects, like when they're summoned, you get to Raigeki your opponent's board, or destroy all their back row, or like pop a card and inflict damage to your opponent. Like the Elemental Lords themselves are really good, especially like Moon Iglesia, which you can discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. That's really a powerful effect. The Elemental Sabers themselves, though, they do help the Elemental Lords summon themselves, but they are a bit of a slow archetype. I have a prototype build. I'm going to show you guys here. I made it a 60 card, just so you can get a bunch of Element Sabers in the graveyard. That way you'll be able to summon out the Elemental Lords a lot easier. I tested this a little bit. I'm still not done with it. That's why I'm showing it in this type of video, or else I would like have a deck profile or whatever. But what do you guys think about this? I mean, I definitely think 60 card would be the best way to go if you want to play Elemental Sabers. Just like I said, get them all in the grave, so you can summon that Elemental Lords a lot easier. It is a deck that relies really heavily on the field spell. So if you're not too prone on that, like if your opponent like just pops this, you're kind of screwed, because then you have to, because the Elemental Sabers, what they do is they can send elemental send an elemental monster from your hand to the graveyard, activate some of their effects, and yeah, once per turn you can send an elemental monster from your hand to the graveyard. And what the field spell lets you do is actually lets you send them from the deck to the graveyard instead. So that's fantastic. And once per turn, okay, and once per turn you can add an Element Saber monster from your deck to your hand, but you have to skip your next battle phase. So it's very restricting, but you kind of still really need it. The artwork on this card is really cool. I think it's like so like plain, but it's so like really, I don't know, it's cool. I just like it. But back to the set list. Solar Battery Man. I'd actually tested Battery Man a while back. Let me see if I actually have the deck that I did of that. because I never posted it, but I thought it was a really cool, fun deck, Battery Man. Okay, yeah, this is the build I was rocking. What's the new card coming out? Solar. Which one of these? What the hell? Battery Man, Solar. Oh wow, I never even put Solar Battery Man in it. But yeah, Battery Man is not necessarily a good deck, but it is pretty fun to play around. I'll stick these in here. I don't know why they weren't in the first place, but it looks definitely like a really fun deck to play. Like I said, I played it for a bit and really enjoyed it. You're definitely going to want to play the Gemini Trail Main just because of the Thunder, and it has some synergy with this. Like you can, I don't know. I completely forgot I played the deck, but I do remember that I enjoyed it. So if you're a Battery Man enthusiast, you know, awesome, good for you. Watch Cat. People are going to be using this more for a special summon effect than anything. Basically, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the end phase, if this card is special summoned this turn, you can banish this card and set one continuous spell card from your deck to your spell and trap card zone, hard once per turn. That's kind of irrelevant. I think people are just going to be using this for mostly like its free special summon effect to go into further link plays, although you can use the effect to banish it instead of continuous spell. I don't think it's as relevant. Actually, I'm thinking about it. Could True Draco take advantage of this? I guess they could. It wouldn't really make sense because they don't really have that much space. They don't really run that many monsters anyway. Never mind, forget that. Trance Familiar. That is a creepy ass cat. Target one monster you control, move that monster you control to another main monster zone. Okay, that's all. Never mind. 3 Trolling Trolls, Yarijo. Okay, I read this card earlier. Is a really weird freaking effect. When this card is normal special summoned to a main monster zone other than the middle one, destroy this card. Once per turn, you can move this card to an adjacent unused monster zone. Fantastic. Each time exactly one monster is normal special summon to your opponent's field. If that monster is currently not in this card's column, move this card to the adjacent main monster zone closer to that opponent's monster's column, then destroy all cards in that column this card was moved in. This is a very weird fucking card, but I get where we're going this, and it has some application, but there's very easy ways to get around it. First of all, there's no real clear way to how to special summon it. It's just when this card's normal special summon, you just can't summon it to the middle monster zone. It's very easy to avoid dealing with this card. It just be like a really annoying card to like have to out. Being 2200 is decent beater. It's just a really funny card. I like it a lot. Let's keep going. Yeah, sorry, this is going to be a bit of a longer video. I just want to go through all the cards that are coming out, kind of give my opinion on most of them. The Iron Dragon Tiamaton. Cannot be normal summon or set, must special summon by its own effect. If 3 or more cards are in the same column, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, so pretty good against Mech Knights already. I'm assuming because it's a quick effect, you can special summon it during your opponent's turn as well. Okay, you can only use this card's effect of Iron Dragon blah 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 once per turn. This card special summon, destroy all other cards in this card's column. Unused zones in this card's column cannot be used. This is like a hard counter to freaking Mech Knights. Jesus Christ. Like, you can go ahead and like set your card, you know you're going against Mech Knights, let them summon a Mech Knight, and you just spam this shit on board and blow it up. That's pretty freaking good. Besides that, I'm not seeing too much application. But this does seem like a really cool card. Because even though columns are a thing now, a lot of people just ignore it and kind of just stack monster and spell in the same column regardless. So this is gonna kind of teach people to not do that as much. I'm not sure if it'll be too relevant in like competitive play, but it's definitely a cool card to keep your eye on. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, cool. Another secret rare. We got Ghost Spell of Haunted Mansion. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, negate the activation, discard a card. Okay. Add a card from the graveyard to your hand, deck, or extra deck. Not really that relevant. Special summon from the graveyard. This is most likely the main one, or banish from the graveyard. Okay. So, assuming you can use this to counter like what, invocation, and you can actually counter a lot of the Lightsworn zombie, like 60 card Dino decks with this special summon from the graveyard. So that's pretty good. Or banish from the graveyard. I'm not sure if it'll be too relevant when it first comes out, but it's definitely one of the cards that I think could potentially, people are like, oh, it sucks, it's not that good. It's like Master Cerberus. People, when it first came out, it was like a $12 secret rare, and then people saw the applications you could have with Pendulum Magician, and it became a $30 in a week, and I went so neg on trades with that, like, I don't even want to talk about it. But this card is definitely a really, really cool card. Probably, like I said, it won't be as applicable when it first comes out, but as we get further down, it'll actually become more relevant, in my opinion. Let's see. Red-haired hasty horse. Okay. I think I said it was a Sharpener or whatever, but this card is actually pretty cool. Like, I actually like this card. If a column has no cards in it, you can special summon this card from your hand. Pretty easy. You can special summon this shit once per turn this way. If another card is played in this card's column, destroy this card. That's fair. Once per turn, you can have this card's original attack. Then for the rest of the turn, but it can attack directly. So this is a pretty good card in my in my crazy. And this is a very easy summoning conditions, and it's a free like punch for 1,000 to your opponent. You could also just link it away. So you could just go further into link plays. I'm not sure what deck this would be relevant in at all, but this seems like a really cool, fun card to mess around with. It is sharp printed though, so there is that. You get Breakcut. Aw, that's cute. You take any battle damage your opponent would have. Okay, you take any battle damage your opponent would have taken from attacks involving this card instead. That sucks. If you take battle damage from an attack involving this card, but this card is not destroyed, return this to the hand. This is very shitty card, but it's cute. So there's that. Okay, next secret rare. Woohoo! Kappa Logic chop this card. I don't know what the fuck. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, banish that monster and as many spell and traps on the field as possible. If you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each card banished by this card's effect. Okay. I could see people abusing like Giant Rex with this. Is there like special summon Giant Rex? Banish it. Okay, special summon Giant Rex. It's definitely a cool card. Definitely really good against cards like a True Draco, who run a lot of spells and traps. This would obliterate Paleozoics so hard. Definitely a cool card. Definitely a card that you should keep your eyes on. Like people didn't think Topologic Bomber Dragon would be a big threat, but it's not too big of a threat, but it's still a really good card. I definitely start running Mind Trick Stars and Staple in one of my extra deck. I'm probably never gonna get rid of it until we get a better card. I probably won't run this though because I don't want to banish like my Light Stage or Scapegoats that I set. But yeah, this is definitely a very cool card. Let's see what's next. Space Insulator. I just want to take a look at even the comments because there's some comments here that are actually pretty surprisingly good. 2 monsters. See, okay, very easy link 2 to make. Monster this card points to lose 800 attack and defense when a Cyberse Link monster is link summoned to your field. While that card's in your graveyard, except and return this card was sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card to the zone that monster points to, but it cannot attack. But wait a second. but it cannot be used as a material for a link summon. Also banish when release a field. Okay, this card is hot doo doo. That doo doo. Okay, more disappointment for the Trickstars. Let's go. Let's go. Trickstar Bella Madonna is not a good card. I've tried playing it in many different Trickstar builds. It's just not a good card. It's not. Like, okay, it's unaffected by effects as long as it doesn't point to a monster. Yet it has a link arrow pointing to your opponent's field, so it can just be like, okay, summon monster to a card points to. Now it's affected. You know, it's so vulnerable, man. Come on, it's so freaking vulnerable. Why? Damn it. And its effect to burn 200 for every Trickstar monster with a different name in your graveyard is okay. But I'm never gonna go into this card in my life. I maybe run one in my extra deck just in case I need the extra burn damage, but I highly doubt it, man. Trickstar Bloom is actually a really great support card for Trickstars, because you could just you use this with Nightshade to go into the Holly Angel, so you summon Nightshade, make Bloom, special summon Nightshade, and use it to make Holly Angel. Its effect on its own, you can force your opponent to draw a card, which is okay if you have a Lycris on board. Or I guess you could reincarnation draw them on your own turn, which is like, that's disrespectful enough as it is. Which I'm really interested in seeing what Konami's going to do with that, because if we have reincarnation at 3, the deck could still be very live. But because we're not getting Magic Corolla this set, if we don't have reincarnation at 3, this deck is going to take a huge hit, because we need recursion. We need to summon from the graveyard as much as possible, so we go further into links and get more advantage. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Trickstar Bloom. Now we got Trickstar Deflithlium. Fantastic. Forgot what this card did. Something about when this card declares an attack with a point to a Trickstar monster, you can target any of your banished Trickstar cards up to the number of link monsters your opponent controls, add them to your hand, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack for each card added. In theory, in a perfect world, this card is decent. But we're not in a perfect world. How am I supposed to know that my opponent's going to have link monsters? I don't know. And I had to have banished Trickstar cards. You could get reincarnations back. You get Nightshade back, which is okay, which is cool. But I'm having trouble liking this card, man. Like, this is probably gonna one of the cards I'm gonna have to play at 1 in my extra deck, because maybe it'll come up. But I just think I can't make space for this. Like, come on, man. I do have to run it because this is the only Link 3 we have for Trickstars. So, shame. Until we get Foxy Witch, then we'll run 2 of that bitch. Minimum. Goki Master Ogre. Okay, yeah. Once per turn, you can return the number of most Goki monsters this card points to the hand, then target that many face-up cards your opponent controls. They have their effects negated until the end of this turn. This card can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. If your opponent controls a face-up monster, this card can only target their monsters with the highest attack or attacks. Okay. Yeah, like Goki's very battle heavy. This card seems okay. In fact, you have to return him the hand. It's kind of counterproductive because you want to beat down your opponent, but this does get to attack all your opponent's monsters, so I guess it, trade-off. What else we got? Altergeist Kidolga. Like I said, I don't know too much about Altergeist. Let's see what this card does, though. When your other Altergeist monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, okay, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard. Let's just summon it to a zone this card points to. Okay, but it can't attack. Wonderful. Except during the turn this card declare an attack. Okay, so you can attack with this as long as this card attacks, but it has 1,000 attacks, so attacking with this is really shitty. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can target an Altergeist card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay. It doesn't seem too hardcore. It's very okay. That's what's common. Then we got the Nightmare stuff. Nightmares took a hit, man. I just watched Cap G's video on how Nightmare Goblin needs to be co-linked in order for you to get the extra normal summon. I'm not sure how true that is, but if that's really the change they made, then this card sucks. Like, because now instead of having to use 3 monsters, because normally you would make like a Link Spider up top or whatever, or a Nightmare Mermaid, then Link summon Nightmare Goblin in your main monster zone, then you can normal summon and go off. But now you need to do that, and you need to have another Link monster pointing to the right or left, and the only ones we have like that are Link 2s. So that means you need to have 5 monsters to Link summon with before you can get your additional normal summon. That's hard on its own. Like that's not something to scoff at, you know, how they say. It's just disappointing, man. Goblin had a lot of really good potential. It still does, but the fact that it has to be co-linked, it makes it kind of shitty. Then Cerberus and Phoenix, of course, are fantastic. Cerberus being that, okay. No, my bad. Cerberus and Phoenix are okay. Unicorn and Griffin are the ones that are really good. Unicorn being my favorite by far, because you can draw cards equal in your draw phase equal to the number of like co-link monsters or whatever. That's ridiculous. That's awesome. Like and I will co-link everything and then draw 5 for my next turn. That's crazy. I really like Nightmare Unicorn. I really hope it finds a place in the meta. Of course it will. I just really hope I see it as soon as possible. Okay, I think we're halfway through it. Jesus Christ. Let me speed this up a little bit. Oh cool, we get the wind up Link monster. So that's awesome for you wind up players out there. Hopefully the ban list will be generous to us and give us back some of the Zen stuff. Vampire Sucker. This I'm not a fan of this card. I don't think it should be a secret rare, but it does look good. I guess it looks good, and I guess it'll be a lot more relevant once we get that new vampire support coming out in about a month, May 25th. This is May 26th, so yeah, in about a month.